Thank you. On Christmas night, the world lost a truly great innovator and musical genius. I met James Brown when I was 16. His son and I were very close. When his son was killed, I coming out of a Brooklyn project with no father, James Brown became the father I never had. As I rode with his body to the Apollo Theater for the first funeral that we would have, I thought in that long ride about one of his proudest nights was when he was inducted here at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was proud because many people that are trendsetters and innovators never get their due until long after they're gone. He would want me to say tonight that long before the Kennedy Center and long before others gave him honor, this Hall of Fame made the world respect and regard the contributions of a poor shoeshine boy from Georgia that changed the beat of music from a 2/4 to a 1/3 and made a half beat something that the whole music world is now built on. There are those that are transitional stars. They make hits, they get big records. But then there are those that are transformational artists. They change music. They change the whole genre that we come to know and respect. James Brown was a transforming agent. I remember that night when we came in 1986 for his induction. They asked some of the same questions the media asks tonight. Why is James Brown being inducted? Like they ask, why is hip-hop being inducted? But real rock and roll is about self-expression and self-definition. You can't limit who's gonna rock and you can't limit who's gonna roll, and those that rock and roll America are gonna end up in this Hall of Fame. The press didn't know that night that when James Brown fought his way back in a comeback, it was rock and roll clubs like the Lone Star Cafe and the country club in California, Reseda, that gave him a stage when others wouldn't give it to him. And he built his way back in rock and roll clubs. That's why it meant so much to him to be inducted, and that's why it's so much to all of us that we remember him tonight. He made his imprint, and we will never forget him. Those of you that loved his music and imitated it and used it, those of us that were close to him. Clive Davis, I thought about James Brown today as I played the big payback, thinking about Strom Thurmond. Every day, I play some James Brown. But in all seriousness, because James Brown had the nerve, the guts, the willpower, and the self-definition, he opened a door to a new world of music that has changed the world. And even though his body is gone, we will never forget him. James Brown lives as long as someone finds the one. James Brown lives as long as someone steps outside of their body and dances uncontrollably. James Brown lives when people forget about being accepted and being part of the status quo, but redefine what the status quo is. I'm sad he's gone, but I'm glad to come to where he found a home to say James Brown will never die. Thank you. God bless.